So we're going to talk about moving up in your corporate company. I want to make sure there's some pretty Boston. Oh, I've never been to Boston. I'm gonna have to check Boston out. But my cousin actually just came back and said that it was a really good, excellent city. So I'm definitely gonna have to make my way out to Boston. I will be in Cincinnati this weekend, so I'm excited about going back there. I haven't been there in a couple of years, so I am excited about that. And then next month, I'll be at the Oklahoma Naturals Expo speaking there. So I'm excited about that as well. We're going to be talking about getting your confidence back. So yeah, that's going to be a really, really, really exciting night there. So, yep. All right, cool. So I'm not going to be too long. Hopefully, every preacher says that I'm not going to be long, and it never fails that they're long. So, anyways, I'm gonna try not to be long tonight. But I want to give you 3 tips today, and like I said, we're going to be talking about this for the next 3 days. But 3 tips today as to how you can move up. I know, and then they want to take 5 offerings too, but I won't do that. But 3 tips today as to how you can move up in your company. And again, ask questions. If you have them, I'd be more than glad to answer them. So let's get started. Tip number 1 is how you can move up in your company is for you to be clear. What do you do for work? Thank you for asking me. I apologize. I completely skipped over that. So let me introduce myself. My name is Winfred Burns. I'm the second. What do I do? So I have a couple of things. So I am the CEO and the host. Yeah, I know. I get tired thinking about it. CEO and host of the Global Drive Radio Show. We have a weekly radio show that comes on every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. On the show, our goal is to change a generation by raising the conversation. So what that means is we like to get beyond the minutia and junk that a lot of the mainstream media deals with, and we like to deal with things that are difficult. So we talk about conversations that you normally wouldn't talk about, and we bring you guys the guests who can give you the information. So, like Walt Love that was on here, he came on a couple of weeks ago and gave some of our small business owners some really good tips as how they can compete with larger brands that are in their area. We also that same night had a gentleman on by the name of Charles Hopgood, both of them out of Oklahoma City, who talked about how to help you improve your credit, which also as an entrepreneur helps you improve your business. I'm also the co-founder of Walk Royale clothing line. It is a clothing line for plus size men and women that we want to provide the sizes, the things that you need as I'm a plus size man. So, of course, it is something that I'm very passionate about. I'm also the associate publisher and finance writer for Sepia Prime Woman. So you can go to our website, which is bold, movenow.com, and see my some of the things I've written. Excuse me. My called the balance sheet is the name of my articles on there. What else do I do? I am also, yeah, I told you, this is why I laugh when people ask me what I do. I am also, I work for a very large credit union where I manage the consumer deposit portfolio for a very large credit union here in Western Michigan. Yeah, I'm also a dad. So those are all the things that I do. And I've been coaching and helping people with finance since 2001. So yes, so I do a lot, and I'm tired just thinking about all of that. So, if you missed last week, I've been dropping tips and hints, by the way, as to how I'm able to do all that. So if you've missed some of my periscopes, you missed that. I've been kind of giving some people some hints along the way. So, all right, how do you move up in your corporate job? First, let me tell you why I'm very qualified to tell you these things. I am a graduate of Langston University in Oklahoma. I graduated in the class of 2001. I left when I graduated from Langston University. I started at a very large, one of the top 5 banks in the country, and started out as a co-branch manager, not an assistant, but a co-branch manager. I was promoted to branch manager within a year, then promoted again to what is called a lead manager within another year or so, and then I was fast tracked in the process to becoming a district manager. So I wound up having 5 branches under me, managing almost directly 100 managers, or 100, branch staff, and 5 branch managers. And I did all of that before the age of 26. So yeah. So I've always moved up very fast in every company that I've been at because I've applied these same principles. So, all right, that's why I'm qualified to give you guys this advice tonight. So, how do you move up in your corporate career? The first thing that you do, that I tell everybody, is during the interview process, make your intentions very clear. Some people will tell you not to do this. I disagree with that. I understand the rationale behind telling you not to do this, because you will run into some people who are very insecure and afraid that you are going to take their position. And because they're afraid you're going to take their position, sometimes they will do things to sabotage where you're trying to go. So that's the reason why one of the reasons they tell you not to do that. I disagree with that because, again, your objective is to find out if the company that you are going to is not only are you a good fit for them, but are they a good fit for you. Oftentimes when we take positions based upon the salary, and that's not a bad thing. However, if your goal is to move up into a VP role or into a senior management position, you want to be in a company that not only says that they promote from within, because most companies say in the interview we like to promote from within, but you want a company that puts their money where their mouth is. So you saying that even though I am starting out as a middle manager, or I'm starting, at the ground floor, neither of which are bad. But my goal is that I want to be a VP. And so by stating that up front, you then get to see, does this company really believe that they want to promote you to that position? If not, you then at that moment have a decision to make whether or not you can walk away from that position, or whether you will take it if you choose to, based upon what they say. You also want to be able to find out, because sometimes you'll find out that the position that you start in, so say you start in, like myself, in a finance position, but you find out, and this isn't true for me, but that you don't like finance and you prefer marketing. Is this a company that believes in allowing people to transfer interdepartmentally? Some companies, if you start out in finance, they only want to promote you in finance. You have to wait until finance positions open up. And if they don't, you find yourself stuck at that same position and at that same level. And again, you need to know that up front, because if that is the type of company that this is, you may or may not want to work there. Either way, again, that is your choice. But you want to know going in what this company does and does not. I don't know why I'm thirsty. Goodness gracious. Remind me to tell y'all about this later. I'm going to tell y'all about this before. Hey, Ray, how you doing? I'm going to tell y'all about this before we leave. So please do not let us get off this Periscope without me telling y'all about this tea stuff. Okay. The other reason why you want to tell them that is because you've met me. Well, good. I hope it was a good thing that we met. Anyway, what you also want to be able to tell them the time frame in which you plan to be at that position. And what I mean by that is you want to know if it's reasonable or not, because you don't want to go in to a position saying I plan to be, again, if you're starting I'm just throwing it out, a mailroom position, and you're saying I want to be the CEO of a company, in 3 years. That may not be feasible, but at least you're opening up that discussion at the beginning. You're getting an idea of what that company's culture is, their corporate culture is. You want to have conversations from day one in terms of what their development plan is, and that is something that I tell you that you should ask on day one. You need to know where are the company's development plans, and when do I get to be put on one? And they'll probably tell you to slow down, which is fine, but you want to know, is this company really committed to developing and growing its employees, or are they only interested in me being in the position that I'm in now? Here is why. I have a friend who started with the company with the intention of moving into the human resources department. When my friend started at this position, he started in a sales position. He was in school and was told that this was a company that believed in promoting within. He went back to school, got his master's degree in human resource management. At the time, again, he was a very good employee, was hitting all the sales numbers, but as soon as he finished his degree and applied for the first HR position, all of a sudden he was turned down. My question to him was this the first conversation that you had? Correct, no experience. And HR is a very difficult place to get into. But my question to him was, what did you do before, from the time you expressed to them that you wanted to be in HR when you started, to the year later or so when you finished your degree? And he said nothing. And so from there, I had to be honest and say, well, part of this is your fault because you never took the time to be put on any type of development plan. You didn't take the time to do anything to figure out if you were on the right path. And I'll get into more of some things that he should have done to make sure to make that transition possibly happen a little easier. Yeah. The other part of it is you have to remember in today's culture, people move from company to company a lot faster than they used to. Hey, Woman Cave, how you doing? So if a manager today makes me a promise, who's to say that that's going to be the same manager that I have a year from now? And so if there is no documented and consistent development plan in place, then I am out of touch with now the new management that is in place. And so if you then have a development plan in place, you don't then have to worry about whether or not they know where you are trying to go. Because even if someone new comes in, they have the ability to look at your files, look to see what's been done, look to see where you are in your progress, who you've been meeting with, and then when a position comes open, you have a lot better opportunity to get that position because they would rather have somebody that they know move into that position than somebody they don't know. Okay? All right. Second thing you want to do to help you move up in your corporate job is you want to align yourself with the right people. Now, this is a skill, and to me, this is what I call this is a skill and an art. And I say that because when we typically go into a new position or into a new company, or any company for that matter of fact, even if it's one we've been in, we typically hang around the people who we like. But in each company, how do you seek someone as a mentor within the company, or is that a conflict of interest? No, it is not a conflict of interest at all, and I'm going to get to that in just 1 second, because that's a part of what we're going to talk about. How do I align myself with the right people? So you find the right people, and anytime you go into a place, we usually hang around the people who we like, who we are cool with, who we enjoy having lunch with, who we can laugh and things. But you are not there to make friends. Now, because we typically work, 40, not always the people exactly. The people who are typically the people we like are not always exactly. They're not always the people that you like. So you want to not necessarily be trying to find people who you enjoy, people who you can hang out with, but you want to know who what I call the power players are at your company. And what I mean by that is position or not position, there are usually a small group of people who are the ones who influence the decision-making ability at a company. And those people are the ones who have what I call the juice. And so those are the people who really make the decisions, or who the decision makers look to for the answers. You want those people to know who you are, because if they know who you are and they speak well of you, then your opportunities to move up get even better. Here's another cool tip, another thing that I think that some people don't take advantage of. The higher you go in a company, the less it becomes about how well you do your job. Because as you get higher into your corporate job, the expectation is that you are already good. So if you are just saying, well, I am better, or my numbers are better than such and such, that's not always going to help you. What it then becomes about is who knows you and what do they know about you. And so let me give you an example. In sales, if you have two salespeople and both of them, when you get to a certain level, you're not going to even be considered for the position if you are not hitting your sales goals. So comparing your sales goals to another person's sales goals is not the only criteria that they're going to be looking at. At some point, what they're going to be looking at is how well does he or she lead people? And then the biggest thing is, if there's a tiebreaker, they're going to the people who, remember those decision makers, those power players, who do those power players prefer to work with? And if that's not you, if you haven't done the work to plant the seed for them to speak well of you, to know who you are, when their first reaction of you comes up, do they say positive things or do they say negative things? When they think about you, do they think about that you have a terrible attitude? Do they think about, that you're a good person, that you're a nice person? Or do they always think about that you have a nasty attitude and nobody wants to work with you? Or do they even not know who you are? So you have to know who the power people are, and those people have to be able to speak well of you. Me and one of my little brothers, we have a saying. We ask the question, "Who's in the room for you?" And what we mean by that is, when they go into their room, like I call it the cool kids room. When they go into the cool kids room and talk, are they talking well? Is somebody in the room going to speak up for you? So you want to know who those people are. And you want those people to know who you are, not just whether or not you can hit your numbers. Because again, you don't even get brought up in the conversation if you can't hit your numbers or perform your current position. All right. So that's the second thing. The third thing is you want to treat your job, whatever your current job is, the job that you're trying to go for. You want to treat it not that you work for a company, but you want to treat it as if it is your own company. What does that mean? So very simply, entrepreneurs have this, I call it a problem, but it's a good thing. But we have this thing where we are never in a mode where we can relax. It might seem like it, we might front like it, but there is always, when you are in business, there's always this small piece of I don't want to say fear, but fear almost, that if I don't consistently change and adapt to the current climate of business, then a competitor is going to come along and take my business or my customers and run me out of business. And so you have to kind of think the same way, in the sense that you don't want to get to a place where you get complacent, where you are no longer innovative, where you are not adding value to your company. And when I say add value, I'm not saying that they pay me to work 9 to 5, so I'm going to be here at 9, I'm going to leave at 5. No, that's not value. That's just doing your job. I'm saying that you should be able to see a weakness in the company and be able to show the company that this is a current weakness that we have, and This is a solution for this company, and this is how we should do it. So you should be able to say, hey, you know what? We have this process in place right now. This process is not working. I figured out that if we do this process like this, it would save us X amount of dollars, and this is how we execute it. Can I lead it? Now what you have done is you have put yourself in the position of, number one, someone who cares about your company, someone who thinks better than everybody else, and thirdly, you have now stepped into a leadership role, even though you have not been given the management title. And once you start doing that and people begin to see you as a leader, even before you are a leader, now it becomes easier to say, oh, they're not in management. I always thought they were in charge because of the way they act. And that's how you want people to speak of you and think of you and your company. You want them to know that whether or not you have the leadership title, the management title, that the leadership ability is in you. One of the things that I see in corporate America that's perturbing is that sometimes some companies, and they're getting out of this too, by the way, make promotion decisions, and typically this is only at a middle management position, make promotion decisions based upon, not based upon who has the best leadership ability. Again, they are definitely changing that because they're tired of seeing the constant revolving door, people coming in and out. And so now what a lot of companies are doing, and they're telling a lot of the B schools that their biggest issue is that they don't have people who have the ability to critically think and to become innovative. So now what a lot of companies are doing is they're going out seeking out entrepreneurs and people who have started their own businesses and who have their own business. They're seeking them out because they need fresh ideas. They don't need a lot of people who just want groupthink and will go along with the group. They want people who will challenge the process and who will walk in the door from day one and try to affect change. All right? So those are my three things for now. Number one, make your intentions clear from the beginning. Number two, align yourself with the right people. Know who the power people are. And then number three, treat your job like it is your own company. Those are the three for tonight. All right? Are there any questions? Or wait, what was the question? I'm sorry. Your question was, is it a conflict of interest to ask for mentorship in your current company? No, it is not. As a matter of fact, I actually recommend it. But I would recommend that whomever the mentor is someone who can commit the time to you. And before you ask them, be sure you want to commit the time to them. Because when somebody agrees to do that, they do that under the expectation that they're going to add value and that you're going to come prepared to be taught. So don't just do it because you want somebody who is higher up in the company to know you, but do it because you are really prepared to learn and you are really prepared to really be poured into. And again, and be prepared to invest time in doing homework. Whatever they talk about and whatever they teach you, go back and study it and learn it and come back to the next mentoring session having shown, that you have done the work. You just don't want to, have to say I had lunch with the VP of marketing. That doesn't do you any good. But it is definitely not a conflict of interest to have someone mentor you. That's actually a really good way to get promoted, is to have a mentor. That helps you remember that somebody in the room who can speak for you. Because again, if you have your mentors in that room, when your name comes up, if you've done well with them and they can see your growth and your development, then they can speak to your strengths, they can speak to your weaknesses, but they can also speak to how your discipline, how well you rebound when you're given harsh criticism. They can talk about, again, how fast you catch on to concepts. Are you able to handle the job that they really need you to do, or are you able to fill in for the person who left the position? So those are all questions that they're able to answer if they're mentoring you. So it's definitely a good thing to have someone in your company who can mentor you. Any other questions? Okay. All right. So let me tell y'all about this tea real quick. So this is that I can't even pronounce the Tasso, whatever tea. That's supposed to be for like a cleanse. Now, mind you, I have done probably just about every type of cleanse there is under the sun. This stuff is interesting, to say the least. And I've been sipping on it like, I don't even know, I'm be honest with you, I don't even know if I measured the stuff out right or anything, but I've been drinking it. And I was complaining yesterday, like, oh, this stuff is no good. You're supposed to drink it for like 2 days and then drink some for lunch and dinner. And then they give you the optional where you can have 4 ounces for a snack. I've just been drinking this stuff, not knowing really, like, I'm not really measuring it the way I should. But anyway, I've been drinking it, and I've been drinking it, and I've been drinking it. And yesterday, I was complaining that it was garbage, and I was going to tell the person who I got it for that it was garbage. And then I came home for lunch today, and this stuff kicked in. Yeah. It was a very interesting afternoon. And so I'm sitting in my meeting this afternoon, and the stuff like kicked in again, and I had to like jump up out of my chair and excuse myself. It was pretty funny, actually. You had to be there to see like the look on my face, because I was just like, God, I hope nobody heard my stomach rumble like that. And you know how you get really hungry and your stomach growls? That happened to me in the meeting today, and nobody heard it, thank goodness. Because when I came back, you know, I'm looking around like, and they were all just looking at me like, what's wrong with you? But anyway, yeah. So very interesting stuff. You should try it. It was funny, man. If you had been there, you'd have been like, what is wrong with him? Why is he running out of here like this? But anyway, so I hope this was helpful for you today. If no one else has any questions, that's cool. Do me a favor once again, share it with your other followers. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna have some more tips for you for these next 2 days, and we are. Don't forget also. Actually, tomorrow night, we're gonna come on after on Wednesdays. I do these after I get off the radio, so it'll be what time do I get off the radio? 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. We're on from 8 to 10 Central Standard Time. So we will be on after that with a couple of more tips. And again, more questions. So I'll be back tomorrow. If you've never listened to Global Drive Radio, do that. You can go to my Facebook page, and I always post a live link where you can listen online. Or they are podcasts through iTunes, so you can always go and search Global Drive Radio, and it will actually bring up all of our radio shows that we've done over the last year, almost 2 years. So definitely check those out. And last but not least, if you want to see any more of my blogs and writings, you can go to globaldriveradio.vpweb.com. Or if you want to check out Walk Royale, go to our website at www.walkroyale with an E, WROYALE, royale.com. And you can see our 3 lines, our Crown of Thorns, our Rent a Big Man, and our Curvy Kitten for ladies. All right? I appreciate you guys as always. Have a good night. Remember, you're loved. You're appreciated. And if you ever have any questions, just know, or any doubts, just know that you have a brother in your corner who is rooting for you, who is cheering for you, who only wants the best for you. Have a good night, and we'll be back tomorrow.